All right, viewers, in politics, things, decisions, sops are always given with an eye on a vote bank. So it's not that suddenly our political parties have decided to have a big change of heart that they are looking at giving all these sops to women. There's empirical evidence which clearly signifies that women as a vote bank can turn an election. I want to take you now to 3 elections where the woman vote was crucial to make a leader come to power. I just want to take you through these figures there. Let's look at West Bengal. In West Bengal, 2021, this election that just went by, it was the woman vote that carried Mamata Banerjee to power. Look at those figures there. For the TMC, 46% men voted, but 50% of women actually voted the TMC, taking Mamata to power for the 3rd time in the state of West Bengal. Let's look at the BJP's figure there. 40% of men in West Bengal went out and voted the BJP. Just 37% of women voted the BJP. The reason that Mamata Banerjee won this election, many would suggest, was woman power. Now, the source of this was a post-poll survey. Let's take you now to the state of Bihar, where women supported Nitish Kumar. 2020, look at the NDA, where men voted for the NDA 36%. Women voted a whopping 41%. And you know the difference when you look at the Mahagathbandhan there. The men voted for 33% for the Mahagathbandhan. However, women voted just 31% for the Mahagathbandhan. This was also a post-poll survey, but let's look at a pre-poll survey in Delhi. And this could possibly be the reason why, viewers, that Arvind Kejriwal has decided to give 1,000 rupees to all adult women in the state of Punjab if he comes to power. This number crunching could hold the key, because in Delhi 2020, Aam Aadmi Party, men voted for the Aam Aadmi Party to a percentage of 49. Women voted whopping 60%. Women in the national capital voted for Arvind Kejriwal. Look at the BJP figures there. 43% men and just 35% women looked to vote for the BJP. Well, this was a pre-poll survey, but if the sweep with which Arvind Kejriwal won this election goes to signify that these numbers clearly held true. Possibly the reason why that Arvind Kejriwal has now decided to give that big ticket sop to women in Punjab if he comes to power. So how important is the woman vote to the narrative of any election and to turning it? I want to cut across to our panelists this evening. I have Sanjay Kumar, Psychologist, Director, CSDS. I have Shazia Ilmi, Spokesperson, Bharatiya Janata Party. Supriya Srinath, National Spokesperson, Congress. Raghav Chadda, Aam Aadmi Party's co-in-charge, Punjab. And all right, let's cut across right now to Shazia Ilmi first. Shazia Ilmi, what is it that the BJP is doing? You have 40% of tickets that the Congress has offered the women in the state of Uttar Pradesh. Let's look at what Arvind Kejriwal promised in Punjab, where he says it's going to be the biggest scheme for women empowerment, with 1,000 rupees going to...
You gave... Go ahead. Figures. You did give some figures, and you gave figures of Delhi and pre-poll figures. But let me tell you that BJP actually increased its vote share, and it went from 31% to 32% in the last elections. And but there was no other party. So actually, Aam Aadmi Party took all of Congress's share. But BJP retained this share and increased it from the last time around.
But the fact is, Shazia, the BJP, the fact is 60% of women seem to have voted for Kejriwal.
Adult women population of Punjab is 11 million, which is 10 crores and 10 lakhs. And the cost of the promise that Arvind Kejriwal is making is 13,200 crores per year. This is my good friend Anand Ranganathan, and this is a crunching he did. And that tweet has gone viral. So I'm just quoting Anand Ranganathan. What is the GST revenue
1,000, not 10 crore, not 10,000 crores. 1 crore women,
no,
1 crore adult women registered as voters in the state of Punjab.
1 crore 10 lakhs.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
I said 11 million.
Okay, go ahead.
I said 11 million. I said 1 crore 10 lakhs.
But for a budget of 1,000...
You're not letting me...
Okay, please.
You're not letting me finish.
Madam, go ahead.
Is there any reason?
There's no reason. You're not letting me complete my questions, I could say. But go ahead.
No, you've already asked a question
Go
and
ahead,
I'm answering now, but you're going on asking new questions.
Please go ahead.
I think you've asked me, I mean, if you want me to keep on asking questions, then I can be quiet throughout.
No, I'll tell you why. Okay. Now that, okay, no, no.
I can be quiet.
No, you don't need to be quiet, ma'am. I'm asking you only. So let me ask you again, because it is, you gave that figure there. If you look at it, as the budget of a state.
You'll be wasting your time because I will still say the same thing.
Ma'am, I'm just giving you the budget of the state, if you'll hear the question.
No, I will still say the same.
The budget of the state is 1,68,000 crores.
I wasn't talking about the budget. I wasn't talking about the budget.
So for a budget which is 1,68,000 crores, an expense of 12,000 crores will be okay.
Debt would be, okay, so I was talking about the fiscal debt, and now the total outstanding debt of Punjab would then be 82,000 crores. 2,82,000 crores. So I don't know how Arvind Kejriwal will tend to meet that. And now and how taxpayers will work around paying the rest of it if this promise is fulfilled. And I'm very happy you have my former colleague Raghav Chadha there, because Raghav I have a very special question for him. You know, Delhi Jal Board Nigam, of which Raghav Chadha is in charge, was actually was actually profitable. But ever since Raghav Chadha and Arvind Kejriwal have taken over, they have a loss of more than 600 crores in the financial year 2018. And a bulk of it is a result of the sops that they have been given.
Women.
And this is a result of a response to an RTI. Now I'm talking about good governance and promises and sops and how they weigh out against each other. Let me finish, Preeti. I'm just carrying a little bit more here. That the department has suffered a loss of 663 crores in the year 2018. And the loss for the year 2015 to 16 was 220.19 crores. And of that of 16 to 17 was 5.15 crores. So, I mean, a profitable body has gone down and has incurred a loss, and a huge loss of this kind, thanks to the sops. So I don't know what's going to happen in Punjab, but this is something about governance.
Ma'am, because sops. It's a little rich coming from all political parties. Raghav's yet to join us. I'm going to go to Supriya Shrint, but I'm going to ask you a quick question. You've number crunched there. Ma'am, let me finish.
But it's factual.
Madam, let me finish my question. You've number crunched there, so let me ask you, doesn't the government give Kisan Samman, the scheme that you give, 500 rupees to every farmer? There are 5 farmers in one family.
Yes.
So where does the money there come from?
But there's no deficit. I mean, there is no deficit.
Are you saying there is no deficit?
In the budget.
Sorry?
There is no deficit to start with. How does, I mean, there is an allocation in the budget, right? Arvind Kejriwal
taxpayers' money ultimately,
right?
It cuts both ways.
I don't know how you're saying this, Preeti. I think you don't know basic economics. How will Arvind Kejriwal, where a fiscal deficit, there's a huge fiscal deficit, how will he allocate this fund? It has to be from an outlay, right?
Ma'am, I'm going to get Raghav Chadha, because I'm not the Aam Aadmi Party spokesperson. I'm going to get Raghav Chadha, the Aam Aadmi Party spokesperson, to answer that. But Ms. Ilmi, the fact is the same logic could apply on the Kisan Samman Yojana, which is because there are many Kisans in one.
And it does.
Yes, it does. All right, I want to bring in Supriya Shrint. Supriya Shrint, the fact is you made a big ticket announcement in the state of Uttar Pradesh where you're giving 40% of seats to women. However, in Punjab, where you have more skin in the game, a big ticket announcement has been made by Arvind Kejriwal, where he's saying 1,000 rupees would be given to every adult woman. Why isn't the Congress also looking at, giving those sops? Why not announce 40% tickets to women in Punjab? You have more skin in the game here.
Thank you for your question, and I hope this is going to be civil, Preeti, because quite frankly, what the Congress is trying to do in Uttar Pradesh is actually getting more and more women in the political fold, because no political party has been able to take the leap of faith that we are taking. The real empowerment of women is if you give them a voice, and what better than to give them a political voice? And our politics is going to change with that. The rationale of 40% tickets to women in Uttar Pradesh is actually an attempt to change a very aggressive, very masculine, majoritarian view of politics. Apart from that, women will come and make more policies which are more inclusive. They will perhaps bring attributes to politics which men cannot. Having said that, we also had a similar announcement that we made in Assam, which was 2,000 rupees to every housewife. the announcement that Mr. Kejriwal has made with all his intentions, the questions will be raised about, do women need empowerment or do women need these handouts of 1,000 rupees? I have no quarrel with that per se. But then, people will turn around and ask the 13 lakh unemployed youth waiting in Delhi for unemployment allowance, why are you not giving it to them? But the last person who should comment on this is the BJP. You have used women as your vote bank. Yes, women have voted for you, but what have they got in turn? They've got back-breaking high prices. They've got LPG cylinders at 1,000 rupees. They've got places becoming rape capitals in the world like Uttar Pradesh. That's what your governance is all about. And as far as your direct question on Punjab not giving 40% women is concerned, trust you me, when Priyanka Gandhi took that leap of faith in Uttar Pradesh, where she is General Secretary in charge, the idea was to start a political discussion not just for the opposition, but also within the Congress. And if you actually saw what the Rajasthan reshuffle was all about, there were 2 women cabinet ministers, there was only one earlier, and an MOS independent charge who's been made. So all I'm saying is there will be steps that political parties will take. I hope Punjab is going to be inspired enough to definitely give more tickets, even if it's not 40%. So I will say that there are these steps that political parties will have to take to empower women. These dole-outs, I'm not so sure how tangible they are. And the counter-argument to that will be that women deserve far more than 1,000 rupees a month. Women deserve a place on the table. Women deserve a place where decisions are taken. Let's get more women in politics. And you're absolutely right. I hope Punjab Congress is going to be inspired by the UP Congress and will give more women. Just like Rajasthan Congress and Rajasthan government was more inspired and more women have come into the cabinet.
Okay.
I really hope so.
All right, I want to bring in Raghav Chadha. Raghav Chadha, you've decided to give 1,000 rupees to women if you come to power, adult women in the state of Punjab. Many would say that, this is a poll dole. But I want to ask you a question which was raised by Shazia Ilmi. Your budget, if you come to power, is, correct me if I'm wrong, 1,68,000 crores. And you will be shelling out 12,000 crores for this particular scheme. Then you have given added sops where electricity is concerned. Shazia has raised the point of a fiscal deficit. How is it going to happen?
Look, first of all, if there is any deficit in a government, it is the political will that is lacking. That is the real deficit. In fact, when we had first assumed power in Delhi, people used to ask us that, if you start giving 20,000 litres of free water to every household, your Delhi Jal Board will run into losses.
Well, she's saying you've run into losses, Raghav. Your BJP counterpart says you've run into losses.
Yeah, let me just finish. On the very first year, when we gave one full financial year, when free water was given to Delhiites, Jal Board saw profit for the first time in the history of Delhi Jal Board. Now, it is about financial prudence. You don't want chief ministers buying, fancy cars and private jets running into thousands and thousands of crores. And let us understand that the Constitution of India state says that we are a welfare state. What you call freebies is called as the social security net in Western countries. There are several countries of Europe that provide free education, free healthcare, free transport to every citizen. I think it is the responsibility of the state to give a dignified life to every person. We are not saying we will give you lakhs and lakhs of rupees to every household, but we're saying to lead a dignified life, you need minimum, electricity, minimum water, and
but
some
Raghav,
financial
you need a dignified life and you don't need dole. Empowerment, many would suggest maybe what you did in Delhi is give free bus rides to women, could have possibly been given in Punjab. Why free money?
Right. Okay. So first of all, as far as women empowerment is concerned, this is just the first step. Some people are saying, oh, why don't you resort to employment generation? Of course, we'll do that. A lot of people say, why don't you give women a seat on the table? Of course, we will do that. But this is just a beginning, a step in that direction. And I don't understand why people are against this. This is a sign-in and opt-in kind of a scheme. Those who really need this assistance will sign up for this. And unfortunately, we live in a society, Preeti, and you and I know this very well, where the daughter of the house has to look towards her father to get some final assistance. The wife has to look towards the husband for some financial assistance, etc. That's fortunately or unfortunately the society, and that's how it functions. And therefore, Mr. Kejriwal has essentially tried to offer some assistance to them and empower them by launching this mega promise.
As I bring in Sanjay Kumar, as I bring in him, Shazia, I'll come back to you because I don't want to leave this open-ended. You accused Raghav Chadha, who runs the Jal Board, of running into losses where the Jal Board is concerned.
Yeah, I want to come back to it also.
Yeah, please do that.
Can I?
Yes.
Okay, so this is an RTI, and in fact, we have there have been, it's all in the public domain. So I don't know why Raghav is making this very pious, innocent face. But the fact is that this is an RTI revelation that it has run into several losses, and not just that. Let me go further. That Arvind Kejriwal has actually taken a loan, 41,000 crores, which is an extra budgetary borrowing, showing that the Delhi Jal Board is running into losses, out of which he has not shown 20,000 in the budget of the last year. That's one. And the RTI reveals that the department suffered a loss of 663 crores in the year 2018 to 2019. The loss for the year 2015-16 was 220.19 crores, while that of 16-17 stood at 515.15 CR.
Okay, now you made your point.
There are actual serious charges and allegations.
Okay, Shazia, you made your point. Can I just get Raghav to answer it? You made your point. Raghav, you want to quickly answer that because then I'll take it forward.
First of all, for all these absolutely baseless and frivolous allegations leveled by the BJP, the Jal Board and I, in the capacity of the Vice Chairman of the Jal Board, have filed a defamation case against the senior leaders of the BJP unit of Delhi. And we will, of course, find out what's the truth in court. As far as these particular financial statements allegedly that she has in her hand are concerned, these are, I think she requires help of and assistance of a chartered accountant to study these numbers.
No, I think you will just support.
Can we just go one by one? Madam, I've given you time. Can I just get Raghav Chadha?
Run away like you did many times over.
May I look? Yeah.
I don't know what.
Can I just get Raghav Chadha?
But these are serious agencies who are.
Madam, can I just get Raghav Chadha? You did speak. Let him speak. I'll come back to you. Raghav, please make your point.
I think Preeti, we're digressing from the real issue. Jal Board is not the issue. I've already sued them in court. I will take them to the cleaners. You leave that to me. That is my business. I will do that. But as far as these people are concerned, they only make frivolous, baseless, unfounded allegations.
Okay.
Number one. Number two, I don't see why anyone should have an issue if Arvind Kejriwal ji has, given this idea, made this mega announcement of a financial assistance scheme to women. Why should we not empower them? Why should those who belong to the poor or the downtrodden be given this financial assistance? It will empower them in so many ways. Can you even begin to imagine
I want to bring in Sanjay Kumar, but
Supresh Renate of a woman.
All right, okay. You made your point. Supresh Renate, I want to get you back into this conversation. You made a very emphatic point that a big decision was taken in Uttar Pradesh. You hope that the Punjab Congress as well makes it. But as a party line, you look at your own CWC. How many women members do you actually have? Save Priyanka Gandhi, Sonia Gandhi. Ambika, Soni ji is no longer a part. She's retired. You don't have any women in decision-making body in your own CWC.
No, just for the record, Ambika Soni is very much a part of the CWC. But yes, there should be more women. And that's precisely the destination we want to reach. I think the UP step is very, very big from a party point of view, from the Congress's point of view, and even from the CWC point of view. So I take your point well taken, and that's the reality we want to change. So we are taking an honest step to change that reality. This reality should have been taken a long time back. I just want to place two things on record for your viewers and for this discussion to perhaps become more fruitful. There is no dearth of women leaders. Out of the 30 lakh elected representatives in the Panchayati Raj, 10 lakh are women. Why is it that when it comes to the next level, the MLAs, 1/10 of India's MLAs are women? Out of 4,200 elected MLAs, only 334 women. Why are entry barriers so high? These entry barriers have to be broken down by every party. Forget about our political differences. Let's get more women on the table. Let's give them a seat. That's point number one. And point number two I do want to make, Preeti, is that there perhaps needs to be a time has come where there needs to be affirmative action as far as jobs are concerned for women. So yes, keep the provisions of reservation, but make some of them exclusively for women. And that's one thing that Priyanka Gandhi has announced in UP, that out of the 20 lakh jobs that we are going to create in UP in the public sector, 40% of those jobs, given the reservation provisions, will be for women.
Okay.
You know, the 3 cylinders may sound very small to you sitting here in the metros to people like us, but it does matter to people in the villages who have not been able to refill cylinders. And 4 crore of those women have not been able to do that, Shazia, just for your information. I also have one more thing to say. I think women empowerment cannot just be a discussion about 1,000 rupee or a 2,000 rupee. It has to get more women in the our workforce participation is 24% as far as women is concerned. How dismal is that?
Okay.
You know, they are better workers. I say this as a woman. Why are you keeping them away from a workforce? Our corporate sector has to evolve its policies so that women who take a break due to maternity or you know, marriage come back to the workforce. They lose out. So I think it has to be an all-round affirmative.
Raghav, I know you want to come in. I want to introduce
women on the table.
All right, I want to introduce. I want to go to Sanjay Kumar from CSDS. Sanjay Kumar, you know, for somebody who's a psychologist who's looked at the woman vote bank, how crucial has it come to an election narrative right now? And I want you to also, you know, look at these 2 big ticket announcements. In Uttar Pradesh, Congress offering 40% tickets to women and the 1,000 rupee sop offered by the Aam Aadmi Party in Punjab.
If you look at these 2 announcements, one by Congress Party in UP and the other by Aam Aadmi Party in Punjab, you get a clear sense how women voters vote is becoming important in Indian elections. We can keep looking at the data of the past elections, how women have voted for different political parties and how these parties have been successful in winning elections, whether it is Aam Aadmi Party in Delhi or Trinamool Congress in West Bengal. So I think if we look at the women vote and why women vote has become important suddenly, because we keep talking about vote banks of different caste communities. We have never talked about women as a vote bank, but all other caste communities constitute, say, roughly 10, 12, 15 or 20% of one of the population. But women constitutes roughly half of the Indian voters. In some state it could be 48%, in some state it could be 49%. So the very fact that women are almost equal to men when it comes to the number of voters in various constituencies, and now women have started taking their own voting decisions in a more decisive manner now compared to the past. Women vote has become more important, and parties have started realizing that, and that is why these announcements by Congress, by Aam Aadmi Party, and who knows, tomorrow by some other political parties might also come up with such announcement. So this is the very specific reason that women are in very large number. They have started asserting their vote. They have started voting. They have started expressing their preference for a particular political party. And if a political party gets an advantage among the women, even a slight advantage of 3 or 4%, that could be decisive in helping that party to the road of victory.
All right. You know, Mr. Kumar, Raghav Chadha, I know you want to make a point. I want to go to Shazia after you. But, you know, an announcement was already made after you made your announcement of 1,000 rupees. The Akalis came and said, we have already offered 2,000 rupees. On the other account, political analysis would dictate that this decision has been made because the Congress has appointed a Dalit face as a chief minister, Mr. Chandy, which was your quintessential vote bank.
No. First of all, this particular announcement has nothing to do with the caste or the religion of the chief minister or any leader of the Congress for that matter. Look, this argument that you need to politically empower women or you need to socially empower women and therefore you should not financially empower them or not give this financial assistance is an absolutely fallacious argument. I think you need to socially, politically and financially empower women. And as far as the announcements made by the Akali Dal are concerned, Akali Dal knows very well that they are a non-player as far as 2022 Punjab elections are concerned. They can promise the moon. They don't have to do back of the envelope calculations as to how they will, actually fund these schemes, etc. We, on the other hand, have a complete blueprint. If you were to ask me about the revival of the state of Punjab, the financial prudence behind this? How will we meet the already 2.75 lakh crore debt of the state of Punjab, etc.? I have answers for that. We've done the working for that. There is a full blueprint that we have. But it is very rich coming from the BJP and the Congress, these sweet homelies, because these two parties have till date not managed to ensure that the women reservation bill, and they talk about the political representation for women, the women reservation bill sees the light of the day. It is still far, far away. So therefore, these two political parties that have been running the parliament for almost 7.5 decades now need to answer.
Please come in.
Mr. Nate, I know you want to make a point. Let me go to Shazia first, and I'm coming right back. Just hold on to that thought. Coming right back. Shazia, the question is that you got to, in this day and age, you have to put your money where your mouth is. You have, let's look at what happened in the state of West Bengal. You had the schemes like Kanya Shri, you had the widow pension scheme. Moreover, 17% of tickets were given to women in the election, which was unprecedented.
Yeah, so Preeti, obviously you don't know enough about the BJP, and I must tell you more.
Please enlighten, yes.
So 10 crores, 85 lakh toilets have been made in India. If you see just the Ujjwala scheme, it has how many women beneficiaries are there and how many families' their lives have changed. These are the reasons why Modi ji keeps doing well. And may I remind you that so many MLAs from Aam Aadmi Party and not a single woman minister is there. So it is indeed a fallacious argument, Raghav, I agree with you. And I want to say this, and there's such a lot of criticism. It's all there, if you go to read. In the new cabinet, there are only 3 ministers. For the first time in our history, we've had so many women ministers in the cabinet, if you see. The big 5, only Indira Gandhi had that once, but whether it's defense or finance, you see, we have somebody like Nirmala. And there are also many political lineage. And not just that, the internal committee of Sushma Swaraj committee, which is internally ensures that there are more than 33% in every body of BJP, and the highest percentage in National Executive Committee is there. So, we all know that in the PSC of Aam Aadmi Party or CWC of Congress, how many women members are there?
I'll go to Mr. Nate first and I'll come back to Raghav. Let her finish. Let me finish.
The entire council of Aam Aadmi Party. Even the women's minister is that of a man. And earlier they had Sandeep Kumar, who was, of course, involved in the ration.
But okay, the fact is when it comes to giving tickets, when it comes to political representation, if you, I can go through your figures in Uttar Pradesh is abysmal, but you made your point. You've made your point. Supriya Srinate wants to make a comment quickly. Ms. Srinate,
before you go to Preeti, before you go to Supriya ji, may I, with your kind permission, take 3 seconds? I have one very pressing question, and I want to ask this to the spokesperson of the BJP. When will that day come when we will see a woman heading the RSS as the Sarsanchalak of the RSS? I would really urge Shazia ji to answer this.
Why would I answer that? I don't speak for the RSS. Why would I say that?
Now?
Okay.
Well, that's your parent organization.
All right, okay.
Okay,
that's answered. Okay, let's not. Can I now go to Ms. Srinate? Okay, can I go to Ms. Srinate?
Why would I answer for RSS? What has that to do with this conversation?
Okay, Ms. Srinate, please go ahead.
Raghav, don't try to be clever.
Ms. Srinate,
to be cute and clever doesn't work.
Okay, Ms. Srinate, please come in.
Coyness all together.
What is this about being cute and innocent and all that shit? Anyway.
Okay, all right, okay, I'm going to, 1 second. Shazia Ilmi, can we, madam, be courteous. Go ahead. Ms. Srinate, make your point.
You seem to take a lot of umbrage every time. You don't seem to tick off. I'm touching a sensitive point there somewhere.
Ma'am,
is it not a relevant point?
I really want, 1 second. This is quite bizarre.
And there's not even one single woman minister.
No.
Does it not bother you?
Madam, you made your point.
Can I please come in?
You made your point. And pray tell me, what sensitive point are you taking? No, are you trying to be coy? Because I'm not getting the point you tried to make.
Keep coming in. I must.
Can I please come in?
I must be allowed to say my bit.
Ma'am, you did. And so should the others. I'm the moderator of this debate. You want me to come back to you in the minutes?
Of course you are.
I can do that.
Which is why I'm objecting to your tone.
Madam, you have to extend the same courtesy to your co-panelists that they have extended to you.
Carry on, ma'am. Please carry on, ma'am. I don't want to get into.
Ms. Srinate, make your point. Thank you.
Preeti, I don't want him to get into the fact whether the RSS has women or not. We all know that they don't. We all know what the BJP thinks about women. I have a very direct point to state and a very direct question to ask. You are in brute majority. You have a majority since 2014. You have a majority where you can actually, if you want to, put your money where your mouth is. Let's get the women's reservation bill, and you have our unquestionable support on that. Why are you not even breathing about the word as far as the women's reservation bill is concerned? We could not pass it. We only passed it in the Rajya Sabha. The Lok Sabha did not allow it because the men wouldn't allow. You have a majority. Mr. Modi wants to be the champion of women.
No, but you have,
let him take the lead.
You are talking about,
please
but what was his...
Madam, let her finish. Miss Ilmi, let her finish. I'll come to you. I will. Okay, I promise you, Miss Ilmi, I will come to you. Can we just get Supriya Shunate?
Shazia's yelling. That's not how this discussion should happen.
Mr. Shunate, make your point.
Please have some patience. Everybody has listened to you. I will only say if Mr. Modi wants to walk the talk, you have brute majority, take a leap of faith, pass the women's reservation bill. Having said that, Uttar Pradesh, a state that I and also Shazia comes from, you've got so many women MLAs according to you. How come not one cabinet minister is a woman, 2 MOS, 1 independent judge? You don't think any of these women are capable of being a cabinet minister to 60-member council of ministers that Mr. Yogi Adityanath has in Uttar Pradesh? What are you talking about?
And but Ms. Shunate, you have admitted this yourself. No party is any richer in this department.
Absolutely.
None of you are richer.
Why we have to walk the talk.
Okay, so
can I think the ball is in BJP's court. They have the numbers. If they have the political will, they can pass the women's reservation bill.
Madam, we are
an absolute support.
Okay. Can I get Shazia Ilmi wanted to respond to that? Now can I please get her? Miss Ilmi, go ahead.
Some reservation. I'm against it personally, and I've written against reservation, by the way. But when it came to real Muslim women,
can we just go? Miss Shunate, extend the same courtesy. Madam, let me not embarrass any of you by coming in. Can I just get Shazia Ilmi?
Just because the anchor is not asking you these questions, I will.
What is the question that the anchor is not asking? I asked her about the CWC. Anyway, you please make your comment, madam.
No, I'm saying when it came to the real minority, within the minority, the Muslims that they keep talking about all the time, for the vote bank politics, they were listening to All India Muslim Personal Law Board because they would lose out the votes. And this was for poor women who were being thrown out of their houses. And all they wanted was not to be divorced and to be given some maintenance. What did they do for those Muslim women? And isn't that more important than the political representation of women? This is a woman's life. She was being thrown out on the streets. Okay. This is an actual issue. Then political empowerment, a basic life of dignity. And what did these two parties do? Speak against that, the bill. Both of them. Because why? They didn't want to lose the vote of the mullahs or the males. And now it's very rich of them to talk about, oh, women. What about political reservations matter more, or life of dignity of the most oppressed section of the society, the Muslim women?
All right. Okay, madam, you made your point.
And we saw what we had to say.
All right, madam, you made your point.
You are a lying person here. You're lying through your teeth. Salman Khurshid was the amateur
we all know the facts. You're lying to Supriya because you don't know where to hide.
Your arguments are so clear. As you are.
Yeah, we know the Shahbano case. We know.
I want to go to Sanjay Kumar. I think the same. Okay, in all of this, Sanjay Kumar.
Muslim Law Board.
Sanjay Kumar, may I please go to Sanjay Kumar? And can we all allow him to speak? He's been very, very patient. Mr. Kumar, I want to ask you one quick question. Till now, everyone's called this vote bank a silent vote bank. Will it continue to be as silent because it doesn't seem it's silent anymore? Or will, the kingmakers finally ever come to be king themselves, the women of this country?
No, I don't expect women voters to remain silent in the coming years. We have witnessed that women have started shaping. Women as a vote bank, that process has started taking place. As I said, this is going to, the women are going to assert themselves in coming elections, and that is why this whole rush for women vote among different political parties. Slowly and gradually, women would start asserting much more than what they have done in the past elections. No doubt about that. I am very, very clear that there is no doubt about that women are going to assert much more than that. And this comes out very clearly from the data which we have been collecting. If we look at the percentage of women who used to take their own voting decision in 2004-2009 elections compared to 2019, many more women now are taking their own independent decision about which party or which candidate to vote for. So this process, this change gives me an helps me understand the fact that in future also more and more women are going to take their independent decision, and once more women start taking their independent decision which party to vote for, their voices would be more like they would assert their voting decisions much more now compared to the past.
All right, appreciate you all for joining us. Well, one would hope that in times to come, it's not just viewed as a vote bank. Women actually are in position of power and decision making. For being a woman myself, you go girl. Appreciate all three of you for joining us. Thank you. Shazia Ilmi, Supriya Srinate, Raghav Chadda and Sanjay Kumar. I'm going to go into a quick break. When we return on the other side, we're going to shift focus. It's been a busy day for Mamata Banerjee in Delhi. TMC is expanding its base. Full report on the other side. At the cost of the Congress. Is that so? A quick break.